Let's freaking go. It is time for another glorious live stream. And today we're talking about quarterback upside. You see the poll question, right? Which quarterback do you believe gives LSU its highest upside this year? So go on ahead, vote in the poll. Obviously, we have a lot to get to tonight regarding recruiting. It is Ricky Collins' Eve. Let's be honest, he's committing to LSU tomorrow, so it's going to be a glorious day, and I hope he picks LSU. Obviously, in the announcement, we shall see what happens. You never know. But obviously, we are all going to be attentive of that, and I will be releasing a Ricky Collins study. Now, for those of you that are patrons, you've already seen a good chunk of our Ricky Collins film study. So if you go to patreon.com/LSU football, you get to see the full thing, some throws that I had not seen yet. Obviously, it's going to be a lot of fun. Now, you are getting a little bit of a preview here. You see the AJ Green jersey in the background. I have been working on my general SEC channel, Power Hour SEC, that'll be coming out more than likely on Sunday night. I have been grinding videos. Obviously, it's really busy keeping up with everything that we are doing here as we move one day closer. Now, something else that I want to do is just, once again, make this clear. This is not a toxic space, okay? Everyone respect each other's opinions. It obviously is very important because there is no definitive truth of who the quarterback actually is going to be. Now, something that really bothered me yesterday was that I did release that 20-plus minute practice video, and I got a lot of good feedback from a lot of you on my breakdowns. But what is very fascinating is that there was not but one comment on the LSU defense. And actually, the biggest takeaway from practice was what I said about the LSU defense. And we'll talk about that tonight as well. As we welcome in a lot of the beautiful people, caucus for sure. Everybody, please stay safe out there. Charlie, what's going on, man? We are worldwide here on PHL. Sherry, what's up, Jacob? What's up, Skipper? What's up, Tony, Chris, Rob G? I think my girl, Danny Girl, is in here. What's up, Skipper? Valenti, a few patrons right there. There she is. Danny, one of my BFFs. Trey, what's good? Loving it. Absolutely loving it. So, yeah, for me, I've got to say this. I've got to say this right now, though. As we move closer to the season, I'm starting to get more impressed by GARRETT NUSSMEIER, right? Now, once again, we have a very limited sample of what we've seen in practice. Some of what I'm saying is boots on the ground info. Some of what I'm saying is just with my own two eyes. And something else from our Jaden Daniels video yesterday. And it was actually a video about all the quarterbacks, and a lot of you did watch that. I've talked to quarterback coaches, and I've told them, who do you think the quarterback should be? And one says, look, practice be darned, Miles Brennan is the best quarterback in that room. And I was like, really? And I told him that, hey, I know people, and they are telling me that Miles is looking like not so great right now. And he says, Carter, this is just practice. I know when Miles goes out there and plays, he puts up numbers, and he's a very good thrower of the football. So just to share that information with you, he is still a Miles believer, and he felt that way. And he also was the same coach. If you remember, I shared some information on Miles before the 2020 season when the channel was in its infancy. And this is the same coach who told me, he was like, Carter, Miles can really play. So he still believes in Miles Brennan. So, it's up in the air. Honestly, I went to Florida Gators show today, and they answer the same thing. Who is the quarterback going to be? And that is obviously going to be the big question. But the truth is this, okay? We do not know what GARRETT NUSSMEIER is just yet. We don't, okay? We don't. We just don't. But he didn't play great versus Arkansas. So I'm going to share with you a statistical study done by a guy in actually the fantasy community, the college fantasy community. His name is Chris Moxley. Doesn't have a huge following. I like Chris, though. He does really good work. And he did a study on all the quarterbacks in the NFL. Okay. And what he did was he looked at each and every quarterback's NFL, or excuse me, their college career. And he looked at the last decade of every quarterback that got drafted in the NFL draft. So a pretty high amount of sample. And the one thing he noticed was you can never judge a quarterback based on their true freshman season. So the aggregate true freshman quarterback rating, ESPN's QBR metric, which I like a lot, it's one of my favorite QB stats, was 59 of true freshman quarterbacks that got drafted in the NFL. Okay? 59 isn't good. It isn't good. Just for reference, 59 is worse than Max Johnson last year. So Garrett Nussmeier's struggles last year were predictable, right? Not everybody is Trevor Lawrence, and they're ready to play right out the gate, okay? But one thing he did find that was very interesting is year 2 tells you who a quarterback is more often than not. The second year, not the second year of them starting, but the second year that they are in college, because he saw that going from year 2 to year 3 is about the same. QBR actually doesn't go up that much from year 2 to year 3. Okay. So what does that tell us? That players like Kenny Pickett and Joe Burrow that have decent stats, but then catapult themselves to the first quarterback selected in their class is actually kind of random, and it's very rare. Normally, most quarterbacks are elite when they are in the second year of their development and they get the chance to play. So what does that mean? Well, we don't know what Garrett Nussmeier's ceiling is just yet. We don't. And because this is just year 2, I know he's still young, but however he plays is more than likely how he's going to be as a starter. So, we get into the experience discussion about him versus Jaden Daniels, and Jaden does have far more experience. But if he becomes the super well-refined passer that he was as a true freshman, if he changes a lot of these accuracy problems in these next couple weeks before the Florida State game, it would be honestly pretty incredible. It would be one of the craziest transformations from one year to the next. So it's going to be very interesting. And honestly, if I were Brian Kelly, and I'm going to get this question a lot tonight, if I were Brian Kelly, I would seriously consider Garrett Nussmeier. I would. And part of that is because he has consistently thrown the football the best in spring. So it is very, very interesting. Okay. Kevin's on 2 feet. He can throw it. Big if he's, but if he, let's see. JG Trey, thank you so much. Safeguard your soul. Good to see you. Tony's a Miles guy. Caucus is a Miles guy. Got a lot of Miles Brennan fans here. I know Jordan is a big Jaden guy, but I know Kayshawn's your favorite player. It's very interesting. Talk to the next NFL QB, and he says, Miles, is it the guy? I mean, just based on what I'm hearing for practice, Miles is not close to Jaden and Garrett right now. I had someone explain that to me, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," because you're throwing against air. But if you watch based on how they've run their 2-minute drills, it's been mostly Nuss and Jaden. And the truth here is, who is the person in this quarterback room who has helped themselves the most? Okay. Who has actually gained ground in this quarterback race? Well, it's not Jaden, because with Jaden's experience, you would expect him to have run away from everybody. It's just the truth. Same thing with Miles, right? Miles's experience in the program, being a seasoned veteran, being fully healthy. Let's be honest. When Miles decided to come back, we thought Miles was going to be the guy. Then they went out and got Jaden, and we all said, hey, Miles and Jaden's a battle between those two. I said that. Now, Tyler's not in here. He said, hey, Carter, that's going to start next year and be the best quarterback. I don't think Tyler's in here, but he's got seats. Okay. The one guy who's gained ground in this race is Nuss. Out of all of them, he's gained ground. The other two have gotten caught up to by Garrett Nussmeier. So that's why I give Garrett a lot of credit. He had an uphill climb for his name to even be considered in this race. So we shall see. Now, tomorrow there will be a scrimmage, and there will be more to draw away from that. But it is very interesting. Now, does Garrett Nussmeier have an interception problem? I think he does. I do. I do think, the Arkansas game, as that game just continued, he started trying to do a little too much in my mind, and the interceptions happen. The ball to Devonta Lee in overtime wasn't a good ball. Let's just put it like that. And I think he tried to do too much. He started to press. He started to, really try too hard. Honestly, there's no other way to put it. And he played bad. There's just no other way around it. He played bad. But from there, knowing that historically true freshman quarterbacks aren't good, even turn good as a freshman, not going to be good. You begin to wonder that maybe we haven't seen Nuss's best just yet, and I know we haven't. And you do have to question, maybe we have seen Miles and Jaden at their peak. Now, there's obviously a lot to like about Jaden Daniels, dual threat quarterback. This is a guy who's won a lot of games. This is a guy who fought through a very toxic situation at Arizona State. This is a guy who's been through a lot. I've gotten to know some people close to Jaden, and there have been personal tragedies. This is a guy who, for me, is a leader. Going out to LA, working out with the receivers, I could see him winning a lot of games at LSU. Look, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. You don't have to be Burrow. You don't have to be Herbert. You don't have to be anyone. You can win a lot of games. I think Jaden can be a 9-10 win quarterback on this team. But there's a lot to work on, right, from now until the start of the season. So, as of right now, I would seriously consider Nuss, but I still think, just based on what I'm hearing, I think Jaden's going to be the first one that rolls out there versus Florida State. I do. So we shall see. Valenti's on the Nuss butts. Scrimmages tomorrow. Okay. Dwayne, I think he's going to get a shot. Tomorrow, I think he will get a shot to run with the ones. Okay. Here's Mike right here. Mike agrees. The scrimmage will tell all. Emma Cat's on the Nuss butts. Danny, I have a lot of thoughts about that. Okay. And we'll talk about Josh Williams tonight. I know I talked about him a lot on Blake's show last night. I'll go ahead and talk about Josh because I really do like Josh. I don't know him personally at all. There's some guys I've gotten to know. Some guys I haven't, right? Let's see. Let's go to Jordan's super chat. I love, first off, the Avi here. Okay, Sean. Great photo. Nobody else could have made that throw versus Arizona State. Love reminiscing more than scoops or sources. That's true. And I was going to say this for later, but I'm going to say it now. Happy birthday to JaMarcus Russell. 37th birthday. And I it's sad that I still have to say this. It drives me up a wall and it makes me want to curse. It really does, but I can't. Okay. What's up, Greg? Good to see you. LGZ, good to see you. Tomorrow's the off day. Excuse me. Tomorrow's Wednesday. The scrimmage is Thursday. I was thinking today is Wednesday for some reason. Tomorrow, the Ricky Collins announcement. The scrimmage is Thursday. My apologies. So I'm sorry. It is Thursday. Thank you, LGZ. Sorry. Now, let me say this really quickly about Zane, the commitment's tomorrow. The scrimmage is on Thursday. They'll get a day off tomorrow. My apologies. The first thing here is it is important with JaMarcus Russell to separate what he did in the NFL and what he did in college. The second part of that about that is what he did in the NFL is of no concern to you if you are not a Raiders fan, which I'm guessing a lot of you aren't. Some of you might be. I don't know. But what he did at LSU was phenomenal. First quarterback, back-to-back 10-win seasons. Check. 8 comeback wins in the fourth quarter of overtime. Check. Didn't play for the head coach who was 10 times better than the next head coach who ran, let's be honest, he wasn't an offensive genius by any stretch of the imagination. Check. But there's this account, Vintage LSU Football, tweet something out, and I replied to somebody. But I do see this a lot. They said, who cares about JaMarcus Russell? Nobody cares about him. And it was an LSU fan saying this. Really? Are you an LSU fan? Are you an LSU fan? Don't you think JaMarcus knows that he screwed his whole life up? Don't you think he regrets that? He just did a long interview. I highly recommend everyone listen. Don't you think JaMarcus thinks about that all the time? Quit with the JaMarcus Russell slander. Stop it. I'm tired of seeing it. You can feel any way you want to feel about an LSU fan, but I feel like there's something more about why people don't like JaMarcus Russell. I wonder what that may be. It drives me up a wall. This guy is one of the best LSU quarterbacks of all time. I don't care what he did in the NFL. He won us a lot of freaking games, and a Sugar Bowl. Okay. The dude was phenomenal at LSU. So, it just drives me crazy. It drives me so freaking crazy. And imagine if JaMarcus saw that and be like, "Whoa, I've never badmouthed LSU." All he did in the interview, by the way, in the pivot, was talk about how great LSU was compared to an NFL franchise, and people still trash this guy. It drives me so crazy. Drives me so freaking crazy. Who gives a flip about the freaking Raiders? Who gives a flip? I don't give a you-know-what about what he did with the Raiders. Stop burying this guy. He knows what he did he knows he screwed it all up. He was a great quarterback at LSU. Only Joe Burrow was better in the modern era. Only Joe Burrow. That's it. Okay? Rohan was great. Matt Flynn was great. Zach Mettenberger was great. JaMarcus, I number behind. So I wanted to just say that I'm sorry, and I appreciate you brought it up because I wanted to bring it up a little bit later. We shouldn't slander legends for what they did in the NFL. We shouldn't. I like you go big on current player. Remember Burr's bit on guys in love with the draft. Yeah, it is interesting. The NFL draft is always wait, hold on. Let me see. I'm sorry. I'm just fired up. I like how you go big on current players. Remember Burr's bit on guys in love with the draft. No, it was somebody on Twitter, Rob, but it's just in general. It's in general. I can't be the only one that sees this. Right? Now, if you want to have a discussion about his NFL career, we can. But I got won a lot of games. Well, yeah, and the guy was like, well, it was all the receivers in the offensive line. did you see the throw versus Arizona State? There are maybe 5 people that have ever existed that could have made the Arizona State throw that JaMarcus made. Mahomes, Rodgers, Allen, Herbert are the only guys in the NFL that could have done that. It's crazy. Okay? Just spitting on the face of somebody that put it all on the line for us. By the way, he's from Alabama. You know how much heat he probably took, especially since he didn't succeed in the NFL from all the people back home in Alabama? And we got a lot of Alabama Tigers on this channel. But Jordan, I want to interrupt this the follow-up. Remember, I think Bill Burr's bit on guys in love with the draft. I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to figure out what this question's asking. Who cares? Who cares? How? How? Tell me that he screwed up. Is he the only LSU player that did that? Did he? I mean, are we judging every LSU player after their NFL careers are over? Also, there's a lot of players that didn't make it to the NFL, didn't have the opportunity to screw up. I guarantee you there were some that would not have stayed on the straight and narrow. Sorry, I got to disagree with this. I mean, you can like and dislike whoever you want. I don't give a flip about, what you did at LSU. Did you do something criminal? Okay. He didn't. Not my business. I mean, he won us a lot of games. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. If someone goes out there and wins you a lot of games at the game's most difficult position, how do you hate him? How do you hate him? And in an interview said it was the Raiders. Instead of in an interview, he said LSU is what made me. So you say he represented LSU bad after he left. Then how come in an interview he says, well, LSU was 10 times better than the Raiders? Heck, that's the best. I would plaster that all over the place. Hey, we treated a number 1 overall pick overall better when he was a backup than when he was a number 1 pick. Oh, you're at Arizona State? That's crazy. John Sibley Butler. But I'm not here to talk about just JaMarcus. I was going to save that for a little bit later. Now, back to the current team. All right. And if JaMarcus wants to come on my channel, he is more than welcome. Because you guys, J fan, big JS fan, I'll defend him. Because it is just crazy. It is just crazy to me. I thought Flynn should have started the year before. I thought he tried to force too many passes. Okay, so JaMarcus Russell the year before, 68% completion percentage. Matt Flynn, his final year at LSU was phenomenal. I'll give him that. But he had 2 300-yard games, right? And it's not as if they were really all that much different, right? JaMarcus Russell went 11-2. Matt Flynn went 11-2. Let me see. Didn't play versus Tennessee. So yeah, I mean they were about equal their final years. I don't know if Flynn would have been better that year. I mean, JaMarcus was phenomenal his final year, so that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Oh, the crowd at the draft. Punchline is you're going to a graduation. Okay, for a bunch. Huh? NFL draft is always kind of crazy, but I would like to go to one. See? Jordan, the wife got the shirt? That's good. Congratulations. I'm glad she did. Now, for people that have not joined the PHL T-shirt club, got something pretty cool to give out. I am giving out Joe Burrow rookie cards to everybody that joins the PHL T-shirt club tonight. This was donated to me by Zane. I'm actually giving out most of Zane's cards that he sent me. I kept one of them, but we gave out a Jamar Chase one. It's another one that Zane's giving out. I got some Joe Burrows I'm going to give out tonight. So if you join the PHL T-shirt club tonight, it is on the bottom screen. Now I know Dev's a nuts bus guy. Tari, I'm ready for your hot takes tonight. Yeah, they had the same record though. So yeah, I mean, apparently not. Once again, there's people in our chat that doesn't care for him. It's always baffles me. Good to see you again, 337 Bo. Saw where neighbors were scraping balls off the ground for Jaden. I think Carter actually broke it down. Yeah, it's in the video from yesterday. Jaden just doesn't look comfortable throwing the ball. Yeah, I remember that throw. Never forget that. AJ coming in for Matt. Huh? Felt like with Flynn and we blew out the teams we were supposed to. JR had some close ones. So championship year, we only blew out 2 teams, right? All the rest of the games, and that was the first 2 games of the year. All the rest of the games were close, right? We were down by double digits, I think, in 6 of the games that year, and we were losing in a lot of the games. So once again, that wasn't just Matt Flynn. We just played in a lot of chaotic games this year, and we won a lot of them. And Matt Flynn was phenomenal. He was. What's up, Corey? Good to see you. Okay. Let's see. Need a Chase, Jefferson, Queen, Delpit, Marshall Jr., Clyde, and Stingley card. I have no Sting card so far. I need to change that. But I will send you one of each of those, Jacob. Well, you've already got shirts. Well, Jacob, if you join the PHL Patreon, I'll send you some cards tonight. All you got to do. Yeah, Flynn played in mostly close games too. But like J. Russ, they were both really clutch. Let's see here. There's Jordan right there. Appreciate the super chat, Jordan. Kobe, what's good? I chatted some with Jacobian, still trying to figure out a date. We tried last Thursday. Love to have him on before the season begins. Yeah, Jacob, just shoot me an email. I can tell you about everything you need to do. Caucus to try my best. Shout out to UVA football. I'm not gonna lie, I'm low-key cheering for UVA this year. Tony Elliott there. Leaving Clemson, it's gonna be tough. But the reason why I'm cheering for Virginia, 2 Louisiana wide receivers lead their offense. Keontae Thompson and Wicks from Plaquemine. Very interesting. Yes, Doug, we'll take care of that. There you go. So Doug's running the PHL T-shirt club. Doug, I think you got my email. Shoot me an email, powerhourlsu@gmail.com, and I'll sort out the PayPal stuff. Congratulations, Doug. You're getting this Joe Burrow rookie card right here, and I'm actually going to send you some extra stuff because you and I are pretty cool. That's serious. Your comments are always pretty good. Yeah, it's true. We did blow Miami out with Flynn. That was a great performance. But that had more to do with Miami just getting mollywopped, honestly. God, we just destroyed Miami every time we played them. I try my best. You know what's interesting is so a lot of you are asking about the AJ Green jersey. I actually kind of just want to change it because everybody's going to be asking about it. So I'm doing like general SEC stuff, and I want it to not be, Power Hour LSU-y. Even though that's who I am, it's just no one's going to take you serious if you're just taking everything from like a LSU perspective. So I just got to Danny gave me a good pep talk this weekend. So my first Power Hour SEC video will probably be released on Sunday night. Now, got some pretty good news. I am going to share with you guys this. It is official and ready to go. We will be doing a meetup, PHL meetup before the Florida State game, Sunday, the 4th of September. Really excited about that. We are going to be at, let me make sure I get the address right, Stumpy's next to Dave and Buster's. Cool axe throwing place, right? So yeah, I'm going to be set up there. I'm going to do a little pregame show, but I'm probably going to get to Stumpy's probably in the early afternoon just to chill and hang out with all of you. So pretty excited about that. I've told pretty much everyone in the Patreon that that I was going to be there, and now I get to officially announce it, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Really looking forward to that. So if you want to meet me, hang out with me, I get a chance to meet and hang out with all of you. I hope my buddy, even though he lives in Austin, John Sibley Butler, gets. I hope I get to meet you. I want you and I to go to Terry Black's so bad. There it is. So I want everyone. Okay, so Annie, if you don't mind hanging out just for a second. So this is someone that is really close to me and really close to Haley as well. And she is actually the one. I'm pointing at the wrong thing. See how smooth that was? She's actually the one that made this logo. So it's cool. Yeah, how much you? Thank you so much for doing this. Really appreciate it. This is so not smooth. So Annie's been one of my best friends for a long time, and she made this logo. Okay. So shout out to you, Annie. Everyone clap emojis for my friend Annie from Germany. Pretty cool stuff. I still can't point at it well. This is like sad. So now I should go up this way, now this way. Oh, I need to move my arm right there. Everyone welcome Annie. Say hi to Annie. There we go. Cool stuff. I just hate that Danny's probably not going to be there. Jordan's not going to be there. There you go. John just wants to keep the chat going. There you go. Look at you, Annie. Love it. Let's see. Spiegelman used to be my coworker. Kind of slipped up and said Garrett was QB1 on the Jordan Collada show this morning. I don't know if he was just saying that for referencing on their topic about the QB run, or that's factual information. Okay. And Doug, once again, powerhourlsu@gmail.com. Okay. Here's what I'll say about Spiegelman, right? He's very well connected and he's very good. I have one of my favorite coworkers I've ever had. I don't talk with Sam too much now, but could that be also his opinion? Could also just be his opinion seeping into a conversation as well, just based on the information that I've received. Is they're going to give Jaden this opportunity, okay? But he and Nuss are going to rotate, and a lot can change on Thursday when they actually scrimmage. So, yeah. Oh, okay. John Tippy wants me to give my score prediction. I'll do it for you, my friend. Yeah, so Florida State and LSU. So I've read a lot of, sharps here. All of ESPN's prognosticators are leaning towards taking the points in Florida State, which is very interesting to me. This line is kind of moved, right? So it was at 2. I think it's at 3. And I think on DraftKings, it's at 3.5. Okay. So for Mr. John Sibley Butler, LSU, your score predictions for Florida State. Why not? I know we're going to be doing this quite a bit. What is your score prediction for Florida State? Let me know. There you go, Danny, 28-21. Zane says 38-10 LSU. Don't do that. Okay? Do not do that. What's up, Daniel? Tyler? Becca T&D. What Tyler on this one? Ooh, John Sibley with the high-scoring game. Sherry Berry, 34-21. Very high-scoring. Okay. So, the experts out west has the over-under set. Okay. All right, let me do this. Because I'm guessing a lot of you have not seen the over-under. Okay. Now, I get a lot of questions about like sports betting terms, like after live streams. Hey, I don't know what over-under or point spread or any of that means. So I will share this with you. Okay. The over-under is a score that is the total amount of points that are being predicted to be scored in the game. Okay. So if an over-under is set at 69, that is a super high number. If you take the over and you bet the over, you are betting that the total amount of points is going to be 70 or higher. If the over-under is set at 69 and you bet the under, it needs to go 68 or lower. Okay. So the total amount of points. All right. So that is what it is. So if you ever look at a point spread, okay, normally you're going to see a minus number, okay, a minus or plus number. If LSU is minus 3.5, I've seen it at 3.5, I've seen it at 2.5. But if let's just say they're minus 3.5, if you bet LSU to win, that means they need to win by 4 points or more. If they only win by 3 points or less, Florida State bettors win. Okay. The over-under is picking how many points are going to be scored in the game. So once again, if the over-under, just for clarity, is set at 69.5 and you take the over, that means the score needs to be 40-30 or anything that adds up to 70 or over. If it's 69.5 and it goes under, it needs to be 68 or under, or 69 or under. Okay. So I want everyone in the chat right now that is not familiar with this point spread. Okay. What do you think the total will be for LSU versus Florida State? What is the total right now? If you were to guess, what is the total for this game between Florida State and LSU? Okay. It's not 69.5. I was just using that as an example. Okay. So Danny says under 50. 53. Amacat says 50. LA Mom says 35. Now, that is a super low scoring game. Normally, you won't see it that low. 62. Sherry says 55, 53 or 55, 51, 45. Hey, Linda, good to see you. Linda, join the PHL T-shirt club. Shout out North Louisiana. I know you're holding it down for us, Linda. Jacob, Tyler, Tony, Rob G says 48. Linda. And Jordan is right. Now, here's the thing. Is point spreads aren't solid. They move. So the line can fluctuate in sports betting, right? So the number right now is set at 51.5. Okay. That is the total. Now, what's interesting is when this line opened up, it was at 55. So what does that tell you? If the goes from, oh, thank you so much, Buzz. I really appreciate you and this super chat. Thank you so much. That was very, very nice of you, Buzz. Hey, Buzz. Annie's in the chat right now.
She is. I told her. Here is the baby for Annie. They don't know about Annie. Can I tell them a quick story about Annie real quick? Huh?
Yeah, go on ahead.
Okay. So Annie has been there with Carter and I since day one. Since Karen broke the lamp when I made the best strawberry margaritas, right?
Yeah,
for the Super Bowl. Gosh, when was that Justin Timberlake Super Bowl?
Yeah.
Yeah. Annie's been there since day one. Day one.
I'm getting shaky. Look at me getting shaky.
And I was texting her and I said, if you hang on a second, I'm getting Z baby and get her in the chat. See, that's enough.
John Sibley says, oh, add 10 points playing in New Orleans. So the point spread is the total is at 51.5. So if the point spread opened up, or if the total opened up at 55 and it goes down to 51.5, that means that a lot of money is being bet on the under. And the sports books are begging you to take the over.
Get
right.
Get her up.
Oh, you got a dog named Elvis? That's a great dog name.
Look at Annie in her cute little cowboy hat. I love it.
I love that she describes the Super Bowl by performer.
I do.
Also, that Super Bowl was the Kevin Hart Super Bowl where he got almost got body slammed because he tried to sneak on the
OG baby.
He was hammered and he tried to sneak on the Super Bowl stage, and the security guy wanted to destroy him. Look at that. Look at the baby.
The baby.
King Alyssa says you better take the over. Zane says when they announce Walker Howard as the starter, the point spread is going to go up to 78.5. I see you, Zane. I
just want y'all to know we have new bands.
Everybody gets a shirt. You get a new band. I'm also meeting up with a lot of our patrons. If you join our Patreon, you're going to get new bands. And I'm actually about to mail.
I've told Carter that he needs to have what coming up?
What?
Z Baby bands.
That'll come out soon. Z Baby bands. But if you just want bands, information is down below as well.
I just had to come in here and tell him about Annie because she is the queen and we love her so much.
Look at Dev. LSU 15-0.
Oh, that's
we got a LSU collar for the baby.
The baby's got a collar. You know what we should do, babe? We should let her wear Bernie's.
Yeah, we'll let her wear Bernie. See.
Yeah.
All right, babe.
Oh, she loves her daddy. I hope they notice how much calmer she's gotten.
Cormier, that is a chaotic comment. That's really sad. I'm really sorry about that. One of my kids' hermit crabs died.
Oh no.
Oh man.
I used to have hermit crabs as a kid. I just had to come in here and make this about Annie though.
Oh, I know.
Because we love our Annie.
Huh?
Look at this face.
Oh, she's getting week by week better on the camera.
She really is. If y'all, all my old timers, y'all remember how Boog, when Carter would just hold Boog up, would you do like this? And she just look right at the camera. Z's getting better. She's getting better. There'll never be another Booger though. But Z's is
Tragedy. Huh? I just did not think that I would get a hermit crab report.
no.
Normally, if your fiance is around you and you hear of bad crabs, that's not a good thing. Did you get the joke?
Yeah, I got it.
You got the joke? Oh man. So here's what I'll say about the point spread. If I were to pick a side right now, John Sibley. All right, but we'll see you. Bye, Z, baby. If I were to pick a side right now, John Sibley Butler, I would pick LSU to cover the spread. Look, Florida State's very experienced. They return way more starters than we do. You give them a lot of credit for that. But for me, I just have a tough time. I just have a tough time seeing LSU losing a third opener in a row as a favorite, right? That is truly, truly insane that if that happened. But it can happen, right? So, I think LSU gets it done. I do. I also like the under. This game could be a mess. You have a Florida State offensive line. Doug has brought this up a few times, right? The LSU offensive line has issues. Okay. They have issues. Florida State's offensive line, though, has issues as well with the injury. If you can't block up front, it's a low-scoring game. These are two new play callers, right? Norvell, who's called plays before, Denbrock, who's called plays a lot. Both of them have a lot of experience with that. This is Alex Atkins' first game as the offensive coordinator for FSU, even though it's going to be the head coach calling the plays. I think this can be a clunky game. I could. And this could be one of those games that's like Danny. I kind of like that score 28-21. The one thing, though, that's going to be very interesting is close games oftentimes are determined by special teams, right? We don't beat Florida in 2020 without one of the best SEC kickers ever, right? So, Nathan Dilbert. We haven't talked a whole lot about Nathan Dilbert. How will LSU be in close games? They're going to be in a lot of close games this year, right? According to K-Ford ratings, LSU is tied with Arkansas with the most games this year in the SEC with a single-digit point spread, right? That means it's going to be a lot of randomness, right? There's going to be some games where the ball doesn't bounce LSU way, and they're going to lose. There's going to be some games where the ball does bounce LSU's way, and they're going to win, right? Let's go. Okay. If you're nervous, run a teaser. Okay. So, last little sports betting thing. To cover the spread, means LSU is so a point spread is what Vegas sets or a sports book sets for how they think the game is going to go, right? So if, okay, let's just say LSU plays a middle school team, okay? It's pretty clear LSU is going to beat a middle school team. So if we were to bet $100 on that game and the point spread was 0, and where we're just picking who's going to win, well, of course, we're going to pick LSU to defeat a middle school team. So what a sports book does is they put a point spread on it. So LSU is way better than a middle school team. So the point spread would be like 75. This is a very extreme example. So if I were to bet LSU to win, they would need to win by 76 or more points. Now, that's what a point spread is essentially. That's a very extreme example, though, just to show that's why they do it. So Vegas is saying LSU is a 2.5 point team better than Florida State. Now, Pegasus brings up a good point. There is a week 0 game that Florida State plays, so they get a tune-up. And it did matter versus UCLA, right? They were far more well-seasoned than us, okay? But LA Mom, what's good is point spreads don't mean anything in like actual results. No one cares, right? If you don't bet, that is. As long as you win or lose the game, that's all that matters. So don't think like too much of that. Now, type Y for yes, type in for no. Does my audio sound okay? Type Y for yes, type in for no. I moved some things around while recording a bunch of content. I just want to make sure I'm sounding okay. Want to make sure everyone feels good. Buzz, I'm pretty sure it's you. Thank you so much. Appreciate it. I really, really, really do. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, everything sounds good. Thank you so much. Good. Thank you, Linda, Rob, the usuals. Appreciate you. I stopped talking about him like 20 minutes ago, and I also got a super chat. So if someone super chats about an LSU topic, I'm going to talk about it. Plus, it's his birthday, so I'm celebrating an LSU legend. So I don't know why it bothers you. So be it. Tyler, any of them. But I do recommend getting the $9.99 one and up because you get to be a part of the Discord, which is probably the coolest thing about the Patreon. We get to chat, all the PHLers. Whenever this chat's over, we do like a little, we're chatting 24/7 in there. So that's what I would do. The $9.99 one. There's higher tiers, which gets you, more one-on-one opportunities with me, get you in a few other things as well. And got a fantasy football thing coming up as well. Fantasy football option. If you want to play fantasy football with me as well. Dang, Doug gets the 6.5 come game day. I don't see that. That would be pretty incredible, honestly. Man, the only way that would get up to 6.5 is if Florida State's quarterback got hurt. Okay. So there you go. Happy birthday to JaMarcus Russell again. I don't know why it bothers people, right? It wasn't like it was for like a whole chat. Like, it was his birthday. You super chatted. You wanted to talk about him. That's it. Colin Jackson. I don't know. I will, but the patrons are going to get the first opportunity to join the fantasy league. So, yeah. How about this, TNT? You don't tell me what to do, okay? Because you just don't. It's just that simple. And for 90% of this chat, we have talked about the here and now. So I don't know why this is so hard for you to grasp. It's pretty simple for everybody else except you. So there you go. Everyone, welcome Ellie Bourget. Welcome to the channel, Ellie. I don't know who this is. I don't know which player it is. That is interesting. Buzz, you still get it. I know you want to just keep the chat going. You get the question. Well, whatever topic you want to get to, we will get to it. Speaking of FSU, I see rivals at the FSU strong lean. Jordan Big Baby Hall is now trending to LSU and now lead FSU. 6'5", 306 DT from Florida. It would be very nice to get a player that build, just because it will give your defense a little bit more flexibility. Just a gap eater in the Tyler Shelvin mold. So yeah, I hope this happens. So everyone, welcome Buzz. Buzz is newer. I think I've seen you in here before though. So Buzz C, I really appreciate your generosity. I see a little photo of you. I'd rather see that photo on your avatar. I love seeing faces, man. So yeah, Buzz, I'll talk about the year overall. How about that? Okay. Bang. Let's talk about the year. Florida State, Southern, Mississippi State, New Mexico, and Auburn. I think LSU starts 4-1. I think they find a way to win 4 of these games. I think a 4-1 start actually is really, really, really good for LSU and this roster because look, we don't know what we are offensively. So yeah. Now 4-1, then you get a bye week, and a lot of you know how I feel about Tennessee this year. I think Tennessee is really good, and I think this is going to be a really tough spot for LSU. And I know the game is in Death Valley, but I think out of Tennessee, Florida, and Ole Miss, 2-1 out of that subset of 3 games right there is actually really, really, really good. I dig it. I'm excited. Thank you so much. And I just love this avatar. Just can't get enough of it. And Doug, I will reply to it right after. It'll be the first thing I actually do right after I get off this live stream. So right here, Buzz, and Buzz, and I don't know if you want to go by Buzz or Clanton, either one. I'll go with Buzz. Buzz just sounds cooler. There we go. I think if LSU starts 6-2, that's Brian Kelly will get some votes for Coach of the Year. I'm dead serious. If they start 6-2, you should be jumping for joy. That is not an easy schedule to start the year. LSU is not clearly better than any of these 5 Power 5 teams they play. You could say they're better. They're not clearly better than any of these 5 teams at all, right? So, and and honestly, 6 teams, 6 Power 5 teams in this first 8 games, right? I think 6-2 would be incredible, right? After the bye week, the Bama game's going to be tough. If you then 6-2 find a way to go 2-3 or 2 out of 4 or 3-4 here at the end, you're a 9-3 football team. I have a tough time with this schedule seeing 9-3 right now. But I will be jumping for joy if we're a 9-3 team at that point. That's going to be really hard, though. All right. Now, what is the more likely scenario? Probably 8-4. The schedule just screams 8-4 at me, which is fine. It's actually really good. And then if you go 8-4, you're going to have a lot of momentum with a really strong true freshman class. I think a lot of those guys are going to be really, really good in year one. And they may not be special in year one, but I think they'll have the opportunity to play. Then you go for a title in 2023. That will be best case scenario. The 2023 schedule sets up really nicely for LSU. But 8-4 on this schedule would be really, really, really good. Okay. I was told that LSU has more talent than national championship Georgia. What's up, Paris? Ahmad, good to have you back. I see you chilling in here, man. Ahmad's been coming back around. You know, it's football season. We haven't talked a whole lot about Ahmad's favorite thing, which is recruiting. Kylan Jackson on Friday, Ricky Collins tomorrow. We will have a Ricky Collins video coming out after his hopeful commitment to LSU. John, I could see it. LSU having more talent than Georgia. Okay, let's go position by position. Georgia's offensive line is better. LSU's receivers are better. Georgia's tight ends are way better than our tight ends. They might have 4 tight ends that are better than our starter. And that's not a shot at Cole Taylor. It's just their tight end room is just that loaded. Running backs, I do give the slight edge to Georgia. I do. Now, quarterback, I think I got to go with my boy Staquavius, right? He got the buzz cut, and I was kind of shocked that frat boy Stetson Bennett got the buzz cut, and and the memes have been excellent. Shout out to Staquavius. So since he's got the buzz cut, I'm going to go with Stetson over our quarterback room for right now. But we'll see. Hopefully Jaden Nuss or Miles shuts all that up. Defensively, defensive line, I'd have to give it a push. We're pretty even there. Linebacker, Georgia lost a lot at linebacker, right? And we have question marks on linebacker too. I'd go push there. Secondary, Georgia does get Christopher Smith back, I believe. Really good player for them. So there you go. Welcome, Jacob, to the Patreon. Congratulations, man. And there you go. So more talent. I'd say it's about even. I would say it's about even. Georgia does have the better schedule. Georgia obviously has more continuity with their coaches from last year to this year, but it's not a gaping gap, but they're a better football team than us right now. So, you know, that's fine. They're Georgia. And, you know, they're probably deeper than us as well. But then again, I think honestly a big thing here would be the difference in Nolan Smith and BJ Ojolari. Would you would you say Nolan Smith is better than BJ Ojolari? I don't know. I would say probably Nolan plays in a better system. And I don't know. BJ might be better than him. BJ might be better than him. I don't know. It's probably pretty close between those two. They do different things well, right? But I think I would take BJ. I think I would take BJ. And I know most would probably take Nolan. Here's my hallucinatory take. LSU beats Bama this year and then loses to Arkansas the next week. I could see it happen. And here's another thing, Danny. I think Alabama's in. I don't think Bama runs away with this. I think they run. I'll put it this way. I think they run away with the West, but I think they stumble. I don't see this Bama team going undefeated. I just don't. Like, I have a lot of questions about this team. And look, I know Bama reloads and all of that, but let me say one thing. And, I was cutting up my SEC video, but I forgot to include this. It is amazing. And I think the same thing is probably going to happen with this player. A little bit kind of how it happened with Jamar Chase, that you began to appreciate him a little bit more after you didn't have him for a while, right? LSU's wide receivers are still good without Jamar Chase, but you then, with what he did in the NFL up to this point, you begin to really see how transcendent he was. I think one thing people are discounting when they're talking about Alabama is how different this team looked when Jameson Williams was not on the field. And I implore everybody to really objectively look at the big moments that Jameson Williams stepped up for them and carried them. There was a lot of them, right? And Mechie was a good player too. So you lose Mechie, you lose Bolden. I don't know. I think this Bama offense can be a little clunky. I do. I don't think that they're just going to run through everybody. King Ulysses, all of you will be jumping on the Tennessee train. What's up, Carvis? He's with Georgia. We'll see. He's on a lot of draft boards right now. That's true, Doug. They were. That's a good point. Let's see here. Yes and no. I defer to Tommy Moffitt on this. He said after the UCLA game, he knew he was already ready to pack up. It's not that he gave up on the job. That's not what Tommy was saying. He said in an interview, I believe on Colada, that he said it was over. So maybe, but there's a lot to it. But if I may, I don't want to talk about O. Like, it's just, it's not that I dislike O. It's just we're so close to the season, and we've talked so much about yesteryear. And it's not that I won't talk about O. If you super chat an LSU football question, I'm always going to answer it, whether it be Jane Daniels, whether it be SEC related or whatever. But we'll have plenty of time next off season to compare O to Brian Kelly and all this stuff. So there you go. Dang, 7-5, 6-6. Buy the Rocky Top stock, baby. And guess what? Y'all can pie and face me all you want. If it doesn't work. Oh, yeah, Dalton, keep the profile. I mean, the profile photo is legendary. Zane, that's true. That's true. Tennessee could put 2 extra people on the field and still not beat us. Did you get it? Did you get the joke? Huh? Oh, man. I cracked myself up. I crack myself up. Thank you, Boris. Boris got the joke. All right, LA Mom. Look, you're cheating here. Okay. Producer LA Mom. I was actually going to save it for way later because I don't like doing it at the same time. You noticed the last live stream. And I had actually a little creative lead in for tonight's Presley trivia. But LA Mom, since you said it, I can't do it. You jumped the gun. So I guess gonna allow you to remain the Presley Collection champion. Okay. Beautiful. I just want you to know you're my favorite girl. Presley Collection, PresleyCollection.com. Engagement rings for days, diamond pendants, necklaces. You want to get your one-on-one consultation today to get your bling bling on. Presley Collection, PresleyCollection.com. See, Chris was ready to win Presley tonight. He was hitting me up saying, Carter, it's looking at all this bling bling. I wanted to win the Presley contest tonight, but LA Mom cheated. You cheated, LA Mom. You cheated. Okay. We'll talk some Bravion Rogers. Good to see you, Jackson. Flippage. I think a lot of LSU fans would really like to flip a kid from Texas to LSU. This young man decommits late last night. Had the graphic and everything. Had the Hayes Fawcett graphic and everything. LSU should feel pretty good about where they sit. Now, I've gotten a lot of messages from you guys. Well, Carter, what are we going to do without Jordan Matthews? What do I always say? Breathe in, breathe out when it comes to recruiting. These are 17 and 18-year-old kids making non-binding verbal agreements to the chagrin of adults. Okay? Breathe in, breathe out. Okay? If Bravion Rogers commits to LSU, you are going to forget about a lot of corners from Louisiana that LSU might not land that you might think is really good. Okay? So what's my personal evaluation of Braven Rodgers? I don't have one just yet. You guys know I'm always straight up with you. I've not really been able to watch him. Okay. I only have so much time in the day. I only have so much stuff I can do. I want to shout out Chris and Michael B. They actually listened to me. I did South Carolina radio all week. And, you know, I like it. I like getting to do CBS radio. So, you know, for me, you guys know what the valuations, I take it very seriously. I like to not be rushed. And, you know, I said the same thing with Colin Jackson. I was like, okay, let me actually start watching, fully evaluating, talking to coaches. And he shot up my board. Now, some of that could be me being excited that LSU's looking pretty good right here. But, you know, I watched Colin Jackson. I was like, okay, really good. So I've not watched Bravian Rodgers, so I can't just tell you that, oh, he is he's the next Christian Fulton. He's the next Kerry Vincent. Okay. I would be lying to you, and I don't like doing that. So I don't know a whole lot about him, but if you're a top 100 corner, are you kidding me? I'm going to be freaking excited. Okay. So the bottom line is LSU really likes him. Okay. And this is a guy, and just to share with you how recruiting works. Okay. Now, different staffs have different ways that they do it. All right. But most of them have their own evaluations on players. Okay. They look at their tape, they speak to the coaches, they speak to high school coaches, they speak to, and they use some recruiting rankings and stuff like that. So everyone in the building has their own opinion about guys that they're on fire about. And apparently LSU staff really likes him. Now, actions speak louder than words when it comes to recruiting. Always remember that. Okay. They have a lot of people that they still need to go recruit and go get. The fact that this kid decommitted from Texas A&M, and if he flips to LSU, that means LSU's evaluation on that kid is really freaking high. Because to recruit a kid and to flip him, you know, sometimes now with the image and likeness, there's some guarantees involved with that. But even with that, you've got to really get after it. You have got to hustle. It's a grind. It's hard. It's texting. It's the letters. It's the conversations. There's only so much time you have in a day. You're getting ready to freaking play your first ever game. You know, as a staff, if they flip him with all these other corners already committed, that's pretty impressive. It's honestly, it's objectively impressive. So, well, Jackson, I wish I could, but you know, for me, I like to look at it first myself. I don't want to just pull his highlight up. I think I could do that. So yeah, there he is. I actually shouted you out a little bit earlier. Okay. Those LSU coaches were recruiting Rodgers hard, and he decommitted from Texas A&M. Oh, then Texas A&M is that's rich. I love it. So there you go, Tyler. Good to see you, man. So in the title, we talked about Ricky Collins a little bit earlier. Okay. Once again, you could. And Chandler, I think I'll do it on Sleeper. Why not? I don't know if Chandler's still in here. Collection, PreciCollection.com. Now, I'm going to hold this up. Chris Ghost, the GOAT, like you actually have goats. So I'm going to, while I chat about this, I'm actually going to keep this up on the screen. Ricky Collins film study, gritty, athletic, next great quarterback. So if you go to patreon.com, you can see my own film study on this young man. Spent a lot of time on this one. And Rickie can really play. I don't know if he's better than Walker Howard, but there's a lot of things that guy does really well. Now, I wasn't able to rit the audio in time for this show tonight, but I will share with you just a little bit of information on Rickie Collins from a guy that I trust a lot when it comes to evaluations. Okay. And a guy on my show tonight by the name of Alfred Fernandez. And he is a quarterback evaluator in the dynasty fantasy community. Now, a lot of you are probably like, well, he didn't play quarterback, he didn't coach quarterback. But hear me out just quickly. These dynasty fantasy guys spend a lot of money to play in these leagues, and they do a lot of these rookie drafts. So before they even play a down of college football, they draft them, and you're allowed to keep them on their team, on your team, until they actually play in college and it not take up just one roster slot. So they get after it. They study the mile per hour of the ball leaving your hand. They look at all these different high school footages. They speak to coaches. They do a lot. And Alfred is one of them that does it. And I had him on the show this morning in South Carolina. And I just asked him a general question about the 2023 recruiting class and his thoughts on the quarterbacks. And he said, Carter. And I was asking him to talk about Christopher Vizina because I was doing radio in South Carolina. And the kid is committed to Clemson. And he said, Carter, I want to spend some time here talking about Rickie Collins. I didn't ask about Rickie Collins. He took it upon himself to say, Carter, Rickie Collins is a special athlete who can make a lot of throws that some of these 2023 quarterbacks cannot make. That's what Alfred said. It's not my words. Those are his. Out of nowhere. Didn't ask about Rickie Collins. He decided on South Carolina Airways to say, look, this guy can really play. And I will say, Alfred did call it that he would start moving up in the rankings, and he did. There's a lot that I like, right? Now, I won't get too detailed because film studies are tough to do on live streams. So, once again, check it out for yourself. Very simple. A lot of the patrons in here can attest. I do not sell you short on film studies. And the Discord is a lot of fun. So, I will say this about Rickie. He is a fighter. That kid is a grinder. I can't speak to how much work he puts in off the field because really only he and people around him really can. I do know a few people close to Rickie, and they do tell me he works really hard. But when he is between the white lines, the kid is a freaking competitor. And the one thing that I really like about that is Woodlawn plays a lot of teams that just have more talent than them. And, if you play a lot of games where it's like that, you just automatically get better, right? You just do. I think about this a lot. Like Steph Curry, for a large part of his life, got to see NBA players up close, got to go to practices and watch, people that were way better than him. And, he probably at times got to, play like just like some play around 101. But, if you're playing people and you're around people and you go to a school like Davidson, where you're playing a lot of teams that are better than you, you punch above your weight. You're carrying your team. And Rickie does that, right? Now, there's a lot of quarterbacks who play on teams that are loaded and they blow everybody out, and I still think they're good. Like Cade Klubnik is an example. He played on the best team in the country last year, but I thought he was still special. But, it's crazy, like how much I think that helps you because it teaches you to go out there and try and learn how to win games. There's an art to winning close games. King Ulysses. He played baseball, basketball, track, and football. Let's see here. That would be crazy. Nuts to Walker Howard to Ricky Collins. What would make that nuts is 3 Louisiana natives. There he is. Switched up the photo, too. I like it. Good to see it, Tyler. Got the hard hat on. Look at that. I like that. It's a great problem to have, seeing that it's tough to find a starter at quarterback because more than one quarterback has the skill set to lead the team. Next year, we'll probably have Collins, Howard, and Nuss. There you go. Who is a good comp for Ricky? Let's see. What? You know what's funny? I actually didn't put one in this film study, and I normally do. I don't know. It's kind of hard. I don't know. I'd have to think about that. I would. I really would. It's kind of tough. There he is, Muggsy Bogues, 1-on-1. Yeah, Muggsy, he did an interview talking about Steph growing up. That was so cool. Alex Smith, that's not bad. Little dual threat. Cap. I think that's fair. I do think I don't think Ricky's quite as fast as Cap. I think this one's actually a little bit better. Watson. I think that's actually pretty good. Deshaun. Cap was so fast. I mean, Cap is just I think he's on like the Newton like tier of great runners. But King, he does make a lot of Cap kind of plays too. Yeah, where I did mention Steph though. I was using a reference, so I get why he did that. Similar throwing motions. Mahomes throws. Yeah, that one. That one is crazy. Off his right foot versus Zachary. That throw is crazy. Insane. But yeah, I mean, if he's that good, that's pretty crazy. No, I could see Deshaun. Obviously, not you get it, but I could see that. Aaron Brooks was actually fine quarterback with the Saints. He wasn't bad. I don't know. He wasn't great either. But he was fine. So Dwayne, good to see you. All right, you guys, all you cool cats and kittens. We are an hour 30 into this, and I'll answer as many LSU related questions in the next 5 minutes as I possibly can. Okay. If not, if you super chat, we'll just keep this party moving all night long. Okay. So I'll answer as many LSU related questions. We also, as we always do towards the end of the live streams, a lot of you have opinions on a lot of different things. So we can touch on a lot of different things as well. If you want to talk NFL, we could talk NFL. Good to see Tyrann Mathieu. I know we talked about it in our last live stream. Good to see him back at practice. Good to see he stuck with the number 32. I kind of wanted him to wear 7, but I knew Taysom Hill had it. Also, wearing number 32, a lot of people had already started buying their number 32 uniforms. So really excited about Tyrann. So yeah, this has been a big debate. So I do an NFL show with my co-host Andy Kaysen, and it's centered around football cards. So we talk about, Joe Burrow a lot and football cards. Guys, I've never seen anything like this in my life. I've never seen anything. And this is a good example of recruiting ranking, where you go, who you are, and where you're drafted matters. Everybody's just automatically assuming that Tua Tagovailoa is going to turn into a good NFL quarterback. He's bad. He is bad. This is not an Alabama thing. When I started doing radio, I think this was about like 2 or 3 years into when I had a sports radio show, which I did every day. And that was like the start of looking at high school quarterback recruits and all of that. And I remember getting a hold of some Tua highlights. Like, this guy's so freaking good. This guy's one of the best high school quarterbacks I've ever seen. And on the show, I was like, this guy should start over Jalen Hurts. I thought he was that good. I thought Jalen was a good, quarterback at Alabama. And Tua was that good at Alabama. He got hurt, though. And he's not the same athletically. When you hurt your hip, have you seen the Dak Prescott drills? Joe Burrow just did an interview with Chris Sims, and he said, it's my hips that I generate a lot of my power, right? Tua's body is shot. I don't get this. Well, they got Tyreek Hill, and they got Jalen Waddle, and those two guys are beasts. Jalen Waddle is amazing. I just don't see it. I just don't. When I've seen him play, he's not good. He just doesn't. And it's not an undersized thing. It's not a size thing. If he was fully healthy, I think he'd be a Pro Bowl quarterback. He's just not the same person. It's gone. I say hopefully. I don't care about the Dolphins, and I don't care about Tua too much per se. I think he's an interesting guy. I hate that his wedding became public when he wanted to keep it private. I hate when that stuff happens. But so all these people are spending all this money on Tua football cards. He can't play. I don't get it. He can't play. He can't play. Running backs. It's good. We got a Kenny Trill reference. I like that, Doug. Nuts did win our poll tonight. Very interesting. And Robert, and I look like Ryan Gosling. Michael B. Jordan wishes he had this. He wishes. And I'm a better actor than Robert De Niro. Me. Really? Strats and running backs. Yeah, so we didn't spend a whole lot of time on Noah Cain. I know Chris is high on Noah Cain. Here's what I'll say about Noah Cain. I have heard physically he has changed his body. Someone close to Noah reached out to me and said, hey, I want to let you know his body has changed. He is, and everybody says it's about every player, but he said he is in the best shape of his life. Okay. Noah Cain, the pros, clutch carries. He's been very clutch in his career. Check. Something else I like about Noah Cain. Really good hands out of the backfield. Check. Makes a lot of people miss when he catches a football out of the backfield. Check. And we did a film study on Noah Cain. All you got to do is search Noah Cain and Power Hour LSU in the search bar, and it will probably pop up. It's a picture of Noah Cain, and it's in his face is in the middle, and there's like a rocket or something. Pass protection overall, I've heard is good. It's hard for me to go watch every snap of Penn State football to know if he's an elite pass protector. It's pretty good. High football IQ, check. Something Denbrock talked about is his intelligence. I'm also a big Josh Williams fan. I am. Huge Josh Williams fan. Just because I can rely on him to run the right play and be reliable and be there. Okay? Obviously, Armani Goodwin's going to have a lot to say about this backfield. And now, we'll see if John Emery can hold off all three of those guys. We'll see. I think John will. But Noah's got some talent. He does. Now, the red flags. Noah Cain's not a home run hitter. He is not an overly explosive back. You look at his two runs last year of 10 yards or more were on perfectly blocked plays, right? So as far as like making guys miss and busting off long runs, not really his game. Okay. Now, not many people can do that. That's not a criticism. It's just, an analysis. There have been a lot of backs at LSU who couldn't do that, right? And we won a lot of games with them, and that's fine. Now, could that blossom into a skill set this year? Maybe it can. There's not a whole lot of tread worn off on these tires. So, yeah. But the truth is, I still think John Emery's going to be the guy. I do. And I think in 2-minute situations, because John Emery's had issues in pass protection in the past, Noah Cain's going to be your 2-minute back. Or Josh Williams, who at LSU has been in a lot of 2-minute situations. Texas A&M game in 2021. Florida game last year had a clutch carry for us. But really, he was a 2-minute back versus Florida in 2020 in the earlier portion of that drive. So there you go. Yeah. And guess what, Mark? I agree with this. He is with the ball. He's not special. I don't care. He's there, right? At least you know what he is. And at least I know with a pretty clean injury history that he's going to show up and be there for me. There is a value to that at running back, especially considering that the running back room has been very injured. The running back room has had a lot of transfers. The running back rooms have had a lot of suspensions. The running back room has had a lot of this guy's leaving. There's a lot of it. And guess who's there? Josh Williams. And the fact that I know that 27 is going to run under through the goalposts every night, it means a lot. It's a very valuable skill set because, not many running backs really move the needle anyway. The more important thing for a running back anyway is just being there, existing. Your best ability is availability. And yeah, Chris Curry was like that as well. The issue, his final year, 45 carries for 145 yards. He was fine. But Chris Curry, like Josh Williams, someone that you could rely on. I totally agree with you there. Carter, when it comes to Ricky Collins, do you think him being a black quarterback affects his recruiting rating? Like, do you think the running quarterback? Oh, no, it's the opposite. I mean, honestly, it's the opposite. And this cycle, most of the league quarterbacks are black quarterbacks. Malachi Nelson, Dante Moore, Nico. And there's some other great black quarterbacks in this cycle. Chris Parson is currently, I believe, uncommitted. He could be in the SEC pretty soon. So, yeah, there's plenty of black quarterbacks in every cycle. Now, 15 years ago, it's a little bit different, right? There's a whole history about the history of the black quarterback. Doug Campbell, obviously his ties to Baton Rouge, but I don't think at all. And Rashada. Josh Williams is like that 98 Camry, reliable and not flashy. You know what? There's actually a black quarterback committed to Nebraska that I think is very interesting. And his name slips my mind. And look, I think most of the quarterbacks LSU plays this year are black quarterbacks. But yeah, it used to really be a thing, but now I'm not sure if it's a thing at all. Now that's part of the evaluation. There's some people that think otherwise. Those people are racist, but still. My boss said attendance, attitude, aptitude had the first two. We can work on the third. That's what I like about Josh Williams. He's going to be there. Can't say that enough. I think Kiner actually fits in well with what they're doing at Cincinnati. So I hope it works out for him. I thought he was going to be really good at LSU. I really did. I was actually slightly higher on Goodwin coming out, but we'd be a lot better off with Kiner right now after the Goodwin news, right? Now, it wasn't like an either or thing. Kiner got hurt, and the other guys, moved up while I got hurt. But still. Let's see here. Quick break here as I put up another poll question. There we go. Goodwin is still there. I've not seen it yet. I think so, Tyler. I'm really high on Caleb Jackson, and I do think he's really, really good. And I think next year, this could be the rare year where your best back is a true freshman. Trey Holly's really good too. I mean, so the Parker Washington kid committed to Houston. That was a guy that was connected to LSU. I do like Holly, and obviously I like Caleb Jackson better than him. Caleb Jackson is really, really, really freaking athletic. As an athlete, he's special. Now, is he like Fournette special? I don't think athletically we'll ever see anyone that special at running back again. But he could be the most athletic back they've had since Geis and Fournette in back-to-back years. I mean, the kid has some serious pop in his game. Clocked at 21.8 miles per hour multiple times. That's really fast. I mean, you've got to be hauling, and he's gaining weight. So, Tyler, you've been with me for a while, so you might already know this. But if you are new, I did a deep dive on this a few weeks ago about SEC running back weight. It matters. Caleb Jackson's a unit. He is a unit, and he's only getting bigger. And you want him to be in that 210, 215 range. The kid is a monster. Now, is he year one good? He might not have a choice. Kane and Emery are likely gone after this next year. Where's Goodwin and Williams after this next year? I don't know. But this room is YTF open. So Caleb Jackson and Trey Holly will have the best opportunity to play a lot as true freshman running backs for the first time in a long freaking time. Okay. Caleb Jackson is a monster. Believe the hype. He can really flat out play. And athletically, he's ready to play now. Trey Holly is really good. And honestly, Trey Holly's tape is a funner watch. He is a whirling derbyshire. He makes every type of play happen. And kind of like we talked about earlier with Ricky Collins. Now, Ricky plays way tougher competition, but Trey Holly, man, he puts a team on his back. And after this year, he will be the most decorated high school running back ever in the state of Louisiana. And this kid loves LSU, right? By far, out of any player, the easiest recruitment, right? This was a guy who's not taking any other visits. He's all in on LSU. He's a beast. Both of them are going to be really good at LSU. So, yeah, I'm really excited about this running back class. I think Caleb's going to move up. I really do. I see Trey staying about where he is because there are questions about his size. I think Caleb's going to move up. I do. He's a tank. He is a tank. Dwayne, thank you so much for the super chat. I really did it. We're hanging out. Buzz, so much. I really appreciate you as well. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. It's a good question, Pegasus. Okay, so this isn't an apples to apples comparison because this guy is a tank. And he's massive. But, Derrick Henry had a lot of carries in high school. and he had a lot of carries in college, and he has a lot of carries now. But yeah, you do factor that in a little bit, but it's just a situation, right? When you play at a school like that, you're going to carry your team the way that he has to carry that team. So yeah. But you do begin to wonder, and the good thing is right off the bat, he's going to get an opportunity. I'm telling you, if you're an elite running back recruit, this running back room for 2023, I don't know if they're going to get transfers. I want you to keep an eye out for this name. And this guy had a really high rating for me on my board last year. Was a Trevante Citizen. I love me some Trevante Citizen. And he's like the opposite of Trey Holly. He is big, and he didn't actually carry the football a whole lot in high school. Citizen of Miami is very interesting. And I don't know how this works. If I were LSU, it is where it gets into stuff that you shouldn't do, but I would nod, wink, wink, and say, hey, you can always come back. So, yeah, and once again, the Derrick Henry comp, I was just sharing someone that I knew had a lot of carries in high school, but of course he's a freak. And Doug, I'm going to go ahead and actually spoil this for our patrons, and hopefully this gets some more Patreon signups. I like where we are right now, but I actually have a Trey Holly film study coming out pretty soon. And yeah, we talk about that game versus Tankett Curtis. So yeah, Trey can play. Trey can really play. Now, I do think he's going to have bigger. It's rare in the SEC to succeed at under 205 pounds. Okay. I'm not going to go through all the data because a lot of you did watch that video, but watch our SEC running back deep dive from a few weeks ago. It's got Jacob Hester and Alvin Kamara's head on it. Harold Perkins' head is on it as well. It's very interesting. And Daryl, you probably don't. Truth be told, you probably don't have one on this roster. Okay? Because for me, elite means a lot more at LSU than other schools. Because if I say a running back is elite, that means you are in the Hill, Hester, Fournette discussion. Now, there's only going to be one of Fournette's, but that means you're up there. And honestly, you don't need elite running back play, especially now. Now it helps. We don't win the title without Clyde, but still, it does help a lot. I'm not downplaying that. But to win games, you don't need elite, especially if you're looking at this through the lens of LSU, right? Where you've had some of the best ever. But right, like, okay, so Daryl, this I'll do this right now, just for you, right? If I were to go through, and obviously a lot could change every year. Some players move into an elite category, and every year some players move out of it and don't give you elite production. So, what I'm about to say is not definitive, right? Obviously, Damon Clark moved into the elite discussions of LSU modern era linebackers and what he did last year. Okay. So this isn't a be all end all, but elite for me, if you're going to say somebody is elite, there's got to be a standard. Because if I'm a coach and I'm game planning, what elite means to me is this is a guy that I need to be prepared for. Okay. And on this team, offensively, the elite players are Kayshawn and Jack. Now, that doesn't mean it's just going to be those two guys. Obviously, Emory Jones was our number one offensive player coming in, and I think eventually he will be elite. But I think Kayshawn and Jack are the two elite players on offense, with Malik and BTJ and Jure for a game or two. You can always count on Jure a game or two to win you one. They're all in the same position group, but who cares? Now, defensively, elite, BJ, Jaquelin, Mason. That's about it. Now, there's a lot of guys. Sevyn Banks, Bernard Converse, Mike Jones, Mekhi Gardner. There's a lot of guys that can do a Cordell Flott to Devon Clark and move themselves up into the elite category. Tremont Shorts can make us forget about Ed Ingram. It's going to be tough. On Patreon, I did do a Ed Ingram deep dive for how freaking good he was for us last year. There's a lot of guys that have elite potential, but as of right now, those are the 5 guys on the team. I know they only comprise of 2 different position groups that I would consider elite football players. Now, Harold Perkins and Emory Jones, I feel really comfortable about getting into that category, as I do Will Campbell. But, we haven't seen them. But they have elite grades for me as recruits. So, I know that sounds harsh, but, I that's not a criticism. It's not. It's not at all. Going into 2019, how many people did you have with elite grades? I see Delpit, Fulton, Lawrence, Jefferson. Going into 2019, based on what they did. And honestly, Joe, but Joe was just good. I didn't know he wasn't elite. You get a chance to prove it. Okay? You do. And honestly, I don't think Brian Kelly wants to call anybody elite either. Right? Go out there and prove it. Hey, Malik's getting snaps in the slot. We'll see. I think Malik's really good. I think he can find his way there as well. Thank you, Buzz. I really do appreciate you. I really, really do appreciate you. Glasgow? It's crazy. I know was it Dave and Rock were in Liverpool? That'd be a pretty cool show. See both of them on the same night. Perk? But now, as an LSU fan, I think everybody on the team's elite. I think every single one of them. You want to see Lewis? Murderer. Yeah, just a stone cold murderer, man. Yeah, I mean, he is really funny. Now, trying to think who all. Rock is probably the only one that I feel like I just need to see. Seen Dave. I've seen now, obviously, Kev. But my favorite thing, though, is like not like I kind of like going to a show and discovering somebody, or going to a show knowing that somebody really good is on there and I actually get to see them live. I still remember the night that I saw Michelle Wolf live, and I was like, she is one of the best comedians on the planet. She is truly, truly, truly transcended. And that's one of Rock's favorite comedians. Rock loves him some Michelle Wolf. But yeah, Lewis, I mean, some of his specials are just so murderous. It really is. Presley is elite. Isn't that right, Carl? I like that. LA Mom, Carl's trying to steal your thunder. Too bad we can't steal Devon Achane from Texas A&M. That guy can run. Yeah, he's really, really, really fast. It's going to be interesting, though, LA Mom. Now that he is the guy, you know, it's not a thunder and lightning thing anymore with Spiller, even though they rush for about the same yard. I think Spiller got over 1,000 and Achane was in the 900s. It's a little bit different now that you're the guy, right? You're not the lightning to thunder, right? Can you be the Reggie Bush now? And you be the number one back? It's tough. The responsibility goes up. It changes. Ask a lot of backs about this. When you're the guy and the target's on your back, especially A&M, knowing that the quarterback play is not going to be phenomenal this year, it's a little bit different when everyone knows that, hey, it's not the Spiller's not any there, not there anymore. You got to be the dude. You've got to be the dude. You've got to be the dude. It's hard. It's really, really, really hard. It'll be on Friday. Carl, I moved it back to Friday. Joey Diaz, Attell. I've seen Attell. And I got an Attell story for you. Big J crowd work. Yeah, I'm okay on Big J. He's fine. Geraldo. You know, it's funny. I had my favorite comedian is he's actually a friend of mine, so I'm biased, but he actually is just he's my favorite comic I've ever worked with. And his name is Paul Varghese. And he opened for Joan Rivers all the way up until her death. Joan was still doing theaters when she died. She was really good. And Paul's favorite comedian is Greg Giraldo, right? He is a true definition of a comics comic, right? All these other guys you've mentioned have huge followings. Giraldo is a comics comic. So I like that you mentioned Greg Giraldo. That's a deep cut. Texas 8-4 are losing recruits. They are, Nick. And I'm glad you're back. You've been cheating on me, man. You've not been around in a while, Nick. So there you go. Now, tonight was a lot of fun. But I do have to skedaddle. Now, I'll answer this final question here because we did get a super chat here from Buzz a minute ago. So we'll keep it going. if you guys do super chat, we'll keep it going. But I'll answer this one really quickly. Who has surprised you so far? So in the spring, it was Will Campbell. I didn't think he'd come out and just clear cut win the left tackle job, but he has, and he's not relinquished it. Honestly, Kane, to come in and be as impressive as he's been in practice, it's not really a shock because a lot of these little things he's always done well at Penn State. He interviews really well. He's a guy you want representing your team. And you could tell this means a lot to him, getting to come home and play for Baton Rouge, play in Baton Rouge. So, yeah, I mean, I'm impressed. I have my concerns, but he's a good back. Honestly, Emory Jones and Harold Perkins, all the hype surrounding them now, it's not really impressive, but when those things confirm your priors, it does kind of make you feel good. Not gonna lie, because I miss on a lot of people as well, but you do spend a lot of time looking at this stuff, and you just hope that you might be right. So yeah, that doesn't really shock me a whole lot, though. It doesn't. So surprise is a strong word. So yeah, I'll go no Kane. Carl, how about no on this one? Because I'm not Andrew Schultz. More and more to have half of your set made up of jokes about the crowd is wild to me. Give you a little secret. Sometimes, and Schultz is a beast. Don't get it twisted. Sometimes, not necessarily it's like pre-planned, but you have kind of an idea going into if you're doing crowd work. If you see this, I'm going to say this. Now, Schultz might not do that. I know a lot of comedians do. Schultz's crowd work is really good. It's probably second. He's probably the best at it right now. But a lot of his written material is good too. So good for him. Two DBs and a major O-line target. Look at you, Doug Nose. Basantis will be transferring to LSU. But yeah, my stand-up is not great. I've told you guys 1,000 times. I love the craft, but y'all need to check out Paul Verghese. He actually had a really good joke he released on his Instagram today on Groupon. That was really good. So yeah, if you want to laugh, go check it out. So there you go. All right, all you cool cats and kittens. I'm going to move on over to the Discord. I'll be chatting over there for a little bit. Congratulations to Doug joining the PHL T-shirt club tonight. Our top super chatter is a first timer, Buzz. Congratulations. Thank you so much for your generosity. It means a lot. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking at you. Tomorrow night, we'll have a video on Ricky Collins, so be on the lookout for that, okay? It is Power Hour LSU. Boom! And tonight, tacos night 3. Yes, 3 nights in a row, tacos. Let's go.